You can see the screen, right?
Yes, sir. We can
Yeah.
see the screen, sir.
Okay, sure. Okay, so good evening, everyone, and very warm welcome to each and every one of you present here. A very warm welcome to my respected teachers, faculty members for providing me this opportunity to, you know, give a webinar on cloud computing tools, basically cloud computing. So, yeah, this is a little bit about me. I actually completed my engineering from STMIT, pursuing computer science. I'm like recent batch only, 2017 to 2021. And during my engineering, I did internship on Python web development and machine learning. That was during 2020. And currently, I'm working as an application development associate since October 2021 in Accenture. So, well, the application development associate is just a placeholder name. If you properly describe my role, that would be like a backend automation developer. I write Python scripts to automate things basically. So, and we do work in cloud. So, yeah, that is also an important factor for us. So, without any further delay, let's start. Okay. Now, I need this to be an interactive session. Okay, I know webinar means you will be expecting, for me to give all this like what is the definition of cloud, what is cloud, and what is everything. But if you interact, it will be very well and good. Since it's already like 4 o'clock and it's a Saturday, so I understand, right? So let's keep this fun, interesting, and interactive, right? And also, if you get any doubts, please you feel free to just interrupt me and tell you have query in this, right? So I will clear that for you. Now, can I just ask any one of you, anyone? It's open for anyone. Like, what is cloud? If you can say, I mean, according to your perspective, like it doesn't have to be a proper right answer, right? So it can be anything basically. You can answer. It's open for everyone. Can you say what is cloud basically, according to you? Like, I think you people will answer in chats, right? Yeah. Servers. Okay. Interesting. Anything else? Or like there will be people who think that cloud is actually like a cloud. It's intangible. No one can touch it. Okay. Some type of storage which can be accessed anywhere. Okay. Interesting. Uh, Servers which are accessed over the internet. Okay, good, good, good. You seems like you guys have pretty good idea about cloud, right? Okay, servers which are accessed over the internet. Accurate. Nice. Everyone is focusing on storage, I guess, or servers. Anything out of the box, like you don't have to read the textbook definition. You can directly tell why do you use cloud, right? What's your use of the cloud? So software and services that run on the internet instead of locally on computer. Wow, that's nice. And I hope you're not Googling anything, right? I'm not accusing anyone of Googling things. It's okay to Google, it's okay to find out. But if you know, I mean, if you have used cloud in your daily life, you might know what cloud is used for, right? So, okay, yeah, no problem. This is uh, this is a good answer. All of these are good answers, right? So now what I will do is I will continue, right? Now, have you any one of you seen this image anywhere? There is no cloud. It's just someone else's computer. Has any one of you? Yes or no? It's the yes or no question. Has anyone seen this image anywhere? Basically, like if I Google cloud, like there is no cloud. Everyone is like there is no cloud. It's someone else's computer. right? So this is the set of emojis you get. Basically, they are putting it in mug also. Like there is no cloud, it's someone else's computer. Do you think this definition is right? Yes or no? Just a quick. The faster you interact, the more interesting the session will be, right? Anyone else? Anyone? Any thoughts about this thought? It's there is no cloud. It's someone else's computer. Do you agree with this statement? It's a yes or no. I mean, it's okay. There is no like compulsion that it should be a correct answer. What do you think about this statement? There is no cloud. It's just someone else's computer. Is this right or wrong? This statement, because this is going to help you like understanding the deep concepts of cloud, which I'll be covering in the next few slides. And don't see the slide number; it will be over fast, right? So directly you can tell like this statement, it's a vast generalization of something which has so many capabilities. When we think about cloud, we think that okay, yeah, as someone said, it was servers, right? It is not present in your computer; it's present somewhere else over the internet, right? So it makes sense to say that there is no cloud; it's just someone else's computer. But let me tell you, friends, it's not correct. There is no cloud means we cannot just tell like there is no cloud. It's just someone else's computer. It's just vast generalization of that statement. You cannot tell like that because it's much more than that, right? It's much more than that. This cloud, it is expected to grow up to 400 US billion dollars, right? That's what the market is, uh, you know, predicted to grow to. It's up to like 400 billion dollars, US dollars. I'm talking about. It's like so much of money. So obviously, it must be something more than someone else's computer, right? So don't worry, I will get you through all that. Now, what I need to do is I need to get your personal definition of cloud. That's what I wanted actually. Any personal use of cloud, and then later I will apply it to a team's perspective, like how your personal application of cloud can be used by a team, or how it can be used by an organization, or how it can be used by other clients and customers. Now really I want you to interact. Okay, I really need if I want this to work, I really need you guys to interact now. Okay, okay, I have seen all many people are saying yes. Actually it was no, but no problem. Now any one of you can tell me that what do you use cloud for? Anything. Now this obviously doesn't have a right or wrong answer because everyone has a different use of cloud, right? So I just want you to know your perspective. I'm talking about perspective, not even about answers. Anyone, I mean, not just one, any number of people can answer this, and it's open to everyone basically. Secure storage, okay, good, good. Uh, okay, for storing large data, okay. Cloud is storing, okay, fine. It's used for storage of data, good. Wow, okay. So we can notice that when we ask students why we use cloud, they basically tell it is used for storage only because they have never used it for more than that purpose. They have never used cloud for more than storage, right? They've always used cloud for like storing their music files or anything like that, right? So if I'm talking from storage perspective, I took your answer and I will apply to a team. How can a team use cloud? Yes, as you said, we need storage. Suppose we are developing a software right now. That software creates a lot of data, and for to store that lot of data, we can use cloud. Now, I am taking your own example and I will apply it to an organization. Organization, obviously, yeah, it has a lot of servers. A lot of servers generate a lot of data. A lot of data needs to be stored in a storage. So that's how cloud is being used for an organization. Now, if I use for clients and customers, now clients request a particular form of application or a software, and it demands the organization for that. An organization creates a specific software or an application for the client based on its needs or anything, right? So for that app, every backend process which is running, make that app running, it requires cloud. It requires storage. Yes, you are right. It is used for storage. But let me tell you, it is also used for much more than that. Now, if um, if I move on to the next slide, there are different reasons to use cloud. There is no one particular reason to use cloud. There are like a vast number of reasons. But at the same time, it has similar benefits. Now, let's say I'm a layman. Okay, I don't know anything about cloud, and I gather a few cloud computing experts. One of them is a student, one of them is a IT professional, okay, one of them is a software developer, okay, one of them is a CIO of a company, okay. Everyone, we have like people of different generations here, right? In perspective of technology and in perspective of age also. So we have different people here. Now, if I ask a student, can you tell me what is cloud, or like what is cloud used for, right? That student will not hesitate much. He will directly say, look, I use cloud computing for backup and streaming. I have like so many music files and I have so many movies to upload. So I use it for backup. I cannot store everything in my PC, right? What if that PC, it gets corrupted? So I use it for backup. I use it for streaming. That's what a student will say, right? Now, if the same question I ask IT professional, the IT professional will say that, okay, cloud computing is used for deployment of various softwares. I will tell in the further slides what's deployment, maintenance, scaling, and all. Okay, maintenance of software, scaling of resources, right? That is what cloud is used for. If I ask a software developer will tell that it's used for machine learning, it's used for data mining. I'm like, what? How can you use it for machine learning? Yes, you can use it for machine learning. Even that I will tell you. Like machine learning, it helps in case of cost efficiency. Like you see, machine learning requires a lot of processing power, right? For that processing power, you cannot buy storage or you cannot buy a new computer with good processor. Cloud will help you do that, right? And many other uses I will say in the further slides. Okay, so this is what you will get if you ask a software developer what is cloud computing. Now, if I ask a chief information officer of a company like what is cloud computing, he or she will focus on more on a market perspective. Cloud computing is used for reducing costs. It is used for outsourcing IT, right? These kind of things they will say. Now, did any one of you understand what cloud computing is? I didn't. Because what is this? Everyone is saying different answers for what cloud computing is, right? Yes or no? I mean, I didn't understand. If I was in front of these people, I would say, hey, you people are useless. I didn't understand even a single word what you're speaking about. But there is a meaning for each and every one of these uses. Now, if I go back to the student's example, if I go back to the student's example, he is saying that he is using cloud computing for backup or streaming things, right? Now, I will tell him, why are you using cloud for that? You can directly store it in your PC, right? I mean, let's say you have a lot of files in your mobile phone, right? Now you connect your mobile phone to your PC, which is connected to the internet, right? You can just transfer your files to your laptop, Why are you using cloud for that? Obviously, these kind of things were present before the cloud only. Backup, it's not a new concept. Backup is not a new concept. Storage is not a new concept. Where does cloud computing exactly fit in here? Is what I'm saying. As you guys said, like, what is cloud? Many people said, like, I can show you the chat, right? Cloud, like storing large data, storing of data, storage. Many people said storage, right? The first word I heard was servers, storage. These things were present before cloud computing entered the market, right? These things are not like a new things for you. These things were already present. So what exactly happened, right? Now the student will say that no, I cannot connect to my laptop. I mean, and transfer again and again and again, and the laptop will become full, and I have to enter another hard disk to that laptop. Some 2 TB hard disk I have to enter, and again I have to transfer, and again it will be like costly for me. Is what student basically says. So that is why the student uses cloud. Now, completely obviously wireless for you. I mean, it's not wireless in the back end. I will tell you why. For you, you don't need to worry about this laptop and other hardwares basically. You can just use your mobile, and if you have an internet, you can upload the files to the cloud because it's faster, it's more convenient, it's easier, it's cheaper, and it has got more features than you can count. Right? There are like this is what he says. Why do you use cloud instead of laptops or other things? Instead of storing things in laptop or other hard disk, why do you use cloud? He will say because it's faster, it's more convenient, it's in a click of a button. I mean, right now if you open your smartphone, I'm damn sure you will be having smartphone in your hand right now. If you go to Google Drive, you can directly upload any photos to the server, right? It's faster if you have access to the internet. It's more convenient, it's easier, it's cheaper. You will hear these things. So this is the similar benefits I was talking about. If you go back here, each and every person here will have the similar benefits. That is faster, more convenient, easier, cheaper, more features. This is why we use cloud. Do you understand? Right? If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Right? So this is why we use cloud basically. And these are the different cloud service providers. Okay, I didn't want to show you. Um, can any one of you, not anyone, you can access, like you can say numbers basically. Uh, can most of you try to answer what are the different cloud service providers? Or you can even say apps which use cloud or tools which use cloud. I have a very best example, but obviously it's the most common example. That is Zoom. Zoom uses cloud, right? So the meeting is happening in cloud itself. Can people try to just give examples of service providers or at least cloud services? I know you use all of these things in your daily day-to-day life. I'm not asking you some kind of technical question. I'm just asking you where do you use these things? Yeah, exactly. AWS, Microsoft Azure, good, very good. Google Drive, okay. Everyone is as saying Google Drive, okay. Any other forms of drive? Is Google the only person, or is the Google the only company which gives drive as a feature? Hmm? You get my point, right? As people answered AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Drive, and everything. These are the companies which provide cloud services. Okay, so Google provides many, not just Google Drive. It provides Google Docs. right? That is one more thing for you to focus on. If I look at more examples here, you can see now everything basically, even Netflix. These Netflix is basically a service provided to you via cloud. Did you know that? Netflix and many things will come into picture here. And in our company, we use Workday as a tool for, it's basically an HR tool which stores information about each and every employee and his supervisors, his leads, and everything. We use GitLab for downloading the codes, source codes of everything, right? We use Zoom. Zoom you must be using every day in your online classes. These all of these are the service. You can call them some of them in this. This is not an exhaustive list. See, I have written like etc. here. So there are even more cloud service providers, and some of these are cloud computing tools, basically, right? So any service or any application or any software which provides you a service, right, through the cloud. I will again go back to cloud in the picture, but just make sense of this sentence now. Any software or any application which uses cloud to provide you a service, it's basically a cloud tool because it uses cloud for each and every one of its tasks. So these many, you can see it's listed here. These many cloud service providers are here, or cloud computing tools are here. Our own Accenture cloud platform is also there in this. There is an Oracle cloud, there is Google cloud, there is Alibaba cloud, there is IBM cloud. Every kind of cloud is there. People will provide you that. Right. Now, that makes you think. It uses internet only, right? He's this Microsoft Azure portal. This is how it looks. See, Microsoft Azure portal. I will show you if I have time after this session. I will show you example about this Microsoft Azure portal for you. Okay. So this is what it uses. Create a resource. It has many features. It's like if I go on listing now, this time won't be enough for me to list each and everything. So there is Google Cloud. It looks something like this. So you have various options here: Cloud DNS, Cloud, and everything. There is Amazon AWS console. This is how Amazon AW. This is how it looks like. This is how the console looks like. The other services and all I will show you in the next slides. Okay. So after seeing all this, you really start to wonder. I mean, without internet, it's nothing basically, right? So it makes you kind of wonder. So is cloud just the same thing as the internet? Now I need you to answer this question. Is cloud just the same thing as the internet? It's a pretty simple question, right? Makes you think. It's a thought-provoking question. So if you didn't get the question, you can look at this. So is cloud just the same thing as the internet? Yes or no? Think, I mean, there is no like, I will not tell you, okay, you are wrong. I will not target or anything. You can just tell, what do you think about this statement? Cloud just the same thing as the internet? In the next 3 to 4 slides, you will get a proper picture of what is the cloud. Like, why do we call it the cloud and why it is called? Because if you are able to answer this question right, either yes or either no, I will make you understand what exactly is the cloud. No. Okay, I hear one answer no. It's just a one answer. I can expect other answers also, right? It's not or it is. Because basically it uses internet. to provide you the services. I think I heard like I read an answer here which was yeah, servers which are accessed over the internet, right? Over the internet. This is the keyword here. So is it the same thing as an internet? Okay, I think I will have to do with just one answer. I mean, it's also okay if you can unmute yourself and tell the answer. Part of the internet. Okay, cool, interesting. Good, good, very good. Even if you, I mean, you can unmute yourself also and answer because I'll be presenting. No, every time I don't have to come and check the chat. That's okay, no problem. I can check. Now, this statement is the cloud just the same thing as in internet? Now, does it require the internet? Yes, the same way www, that is World Wide Web, requires the internet. Email requires internet. Now that doesn't mean they all mean the same thing, right? Cloud is not the internet. Cloud requires the internet. That is the thing. Okay. We need some kind of computing resource that isn't running on our machine. That is what cloud is. In our machine, like in your PC, you don't need an application. Uh, it should happen automatically. We need some kind of computing resource that isn't just running on our machine. So if I tell you like about data centers, there are like many data centers present around the world. Most of their locations are unknown for security purposes because Azure, basically Azure data centers, they do not reveal they just reveal the region. So one of the regions is Bangalore, one of the regions is Mumbai. They do not exactly give you the address because if someone plans to attack that, it will be disastrous. That's not the point. We have had data centers since the 1940s. Even data centers is not the cloud. What is basically the cloud? These data centers are there, right? What transforms this data centers? You can see these data centers. Data centers basically have servers, set of servers, and basically a set of storage devices, and there will be networking devices like routers, right? Why they need the internet wires and everything. They need networking, they need storage, and they need servers. And these security systems, air conditioning to cool down the systems. This is what a data center comprises of. Without cloud, this is how it looks like. And this we had even before cloud computing. It's not like it came with cloud computing as a new feature. No, data centers, we have had data centers like thousands and thousands of centers since 1940s. What transforms this into cloud computing is the additional layer of that software based management and automation. This is the cloud. What manages all these servers, storage, networking, right? What software manages these things and automate these things? The combined mixture of this and data center is known as cloud. Because without the software, it's simply sitting here. See, servers and storage. People used to come to these data centers before and plug in their PC and access the storage. That's how they did it before cloud computing came into picture. I mean, as you said, as one of the students said, they use storage, right, for the cloud. So if you wanted storage, you have to go out of your home and you have to go to data centers and you have to enter one data center and you have to pay some money to rent this one part of storage will be dedicated for you. This is how things used to work before cloud computing. And after cloud computing came, this is what happened. Got everything, like you got software based management. If you need storage, it's just one click of a button away from you. Right now, if you're ready to pay, you will get 100 GBs of storage from Google Cloud. right? You need any networking, any IP addresses also you will get on one click of a button through Azure cloud. This is what makes cloud more available, more reliant. This is what makes it happen. So I will tell you something about resource pooling. Okay, to properly understand that particular concept, I will need to tell you about something about resource pooling. Now, if you need any service, it will be occasionally delivered to you within seconds. I mean, as I was asking the student, like, okay, why do you use cloud? He said he needs it for storage, basically. I need to upload my movies, my photos to the cloud. There are so many data, and I have to upload all of them into cloud. And it will be delivered to you within seconds. There is no much need for you to go out of your home and everything. It removes the need of human interaction basically, and it monitors every issue and fault and resolve it without even knowing there was an issue or a fault. I will get to that part now. Now, as I was saying, here before what used to happen is you had to go to the server, like you had to go to the data centers and you had to get whatever you wanted, like storage or networking, any IP address. You had to rent it for a day or two, and you used to get it. So this is how a server stack looks like. This contains millions and millions of data, and there will be racks of it. This is called a rack. In this rack, these are called the stacks of servers, and in this, one of them is allocated for you. One of these stack space is allocated for you, and it's rented basically. You have to go to data center and you have to rent this space, right? So what you needed to do before is you needed to take your laptop, go to data center, and in that empty space which I showed you, right? In that empty space, you had to enter your laptop and you had to plug it in. You had to do each and every setup. So that process was known as co-location, or often commonly referred to as colo, C-O-L-O. So this was the before scenario. And this is some, if this was the room, server room, this was somewhere, this was a small space where you got your access for storage. The whole room wasn't yours. In this room, in this particular server rack, in this particular stack, that was your space. You used to rent this space, and you had to pay some like 5k to 10k, like that. The prices used to vary based on your needs. So what was the difference here? Were you ready to do that? Let's say you wanted storage, you had to go outside and you had to do all these things. Here resources were directly allocated for you, and it was isolated from all the other resources. Like you, there would be many other people. So basically, uh, this this part was allocated for someone, this part was allocated for someone, this part was allocated from someone. Likewise, everyone had their access, but everyone was isolated. Like there was no mixing or sharing of resources. After cloud computing came, there is the concept of resource pooling came. Now, as you can see, this was the before scenario. You used to get dedicated resources, right? Another person used to get another resource. It was not like you were sharing with him. But when the concept of cloud computing came, there is a concept of pooled or shared resources. So, as one of you mentioned, right? As one of you mentioned in the chat box that servers which are accessed over the internet, or servers, right? All these servers are connected together. All these servers are connected together, whatever it is. So one server has a storage space of 150 GB, another storage has 250 GB. All these are mixed together and connected together, and it's like a one big computer. These are connected together, and you get access to that particular thing. You get access to this whole pooled share of resources. So whenever you are using something, you are not using dedicated wise, you are using pooled resources wise. All the resources are shared to you, right? So that is the thing. If you didn't have your own data center, you wanted to use somebody else's, that like that is what you used to do it. But the another way after cloud computing came is, suppose you have a company, right? The data might provide you a bank of servers, or I can arrange one or two or three of those specific servers, and servers would be dedicated to me, nobody else. But what I was paying for is the single individual specific dedicated piece of hardware. That what that's what I was paying for before. After cloud computing came, we get a large pool of shared resources. Now I will take an example for you to explain it. Okay. Now I go to OneDrive. Okay, I go to OneDrive website and I sign up for free. Now they might have hundreds and thousands of servers, but it's all connected as a system, and I can get access to that system. So Microsoft, now this is just a simple example. Like this, there will be thousands and ten thousands of servers. They're all connected together, and you get access to that one big connected system like this. So this is the image. So here, suppose you store a data in that system. What this cloud will do is, now you know the cloud is one big connected set of servers. Okay, it's nothing but more than a one big connected set of servers, and it's monitored by a software. And suppose you applied some photos, right? What it will do, it will have like hundreds and thousands of hardwares, right? It will have hundreds and thousands of hard disks. This represents a hard disk, this icon. It will not just store it in one hard disk, it will store it in multiple hard disks. So that in the case of a failure, there is no single point of failure. Your data is always protected. So let's say your photos and your documents were stored in this particular hard disk and this one over here. And if this hard disk fails, even if this hard disk fails, this hard disk is safe, and it is protecting your data in that way. That is one more benefit, right? Before it's not like that. You just used to get one server. Now this is the benefit of resource pooling, right? So you won't even know, like, even if a failure happens, you won't even know that failure has happened, because by the time you realize that failure has happened, the software has already taken care of it. Okay, so that is the concept. I hope you got the point. I hope you got the gist of what cloud basically is. Basically, a data centers, and in the data center, all the servers and all the hardware components are connected to one another, and that particular system is monitored by a software automation software, which will take care of each and everything. There is no need of human interaction at all for you. Okay, so that's what happened, right? Now, in case of a hard disk failure, it will store my data in another hard disk as well. So that's how I have some kind of availability, right? This will store within like within a few matter of seconds. It will happen after a failure. It is, yeah, that's also like that's the main advantage of pooled resources. It is much more tolerant to any kind of failure, right? The system itself will detect a failed drive and it cannot avoid it. It will allocate another drive in the pool for you, right? And here we can accommodate more users. More and more users can get access to the cloud since the resources are shared. I mean, you only can think your own PC, your own computer you are using. You are only using 10% of its resources, maybe in its lifetime. That's such a wasted potential, right? You buy a computer. Suppose you are not a gaming kind of fan, you buy a computer. Still, much of that RAM or much of its resources is being wasted because you are only using 10%. But here, everything, each and everything will be utilized. Suppose, I'm not saying that your data will be divided and stored. Your data will be stored in one particular server only, but that particular server's resources will be used by other users, so that nothing is wasted, right? So this is the concept of resource pooling. I hope you understood. Now let's the character now as you okay, as you observed here, all you have observed till now is characteristics of cloud computing. Whatever I told you, whatever advantages I told you about cloud computing, it was it always comes down to these final characteristics. One, that it should be internet connected. This is quality is common to all cloud services basically. Another one, it uses third party hardware. Another one is its self-service on demand, and the last one is resource pooling. Third-party hardware means it's not your hardware, it's someone else's. You're not using your computer. Basically, like I will give you a very good example. Okay, suppose you need to run a very high-end game. You know, I know everyone is gaming these days, PUBG and everything. You need a very high-end game to run on your computer, but you don't have the required RAM for it, you don't have the required graphics for it, right? What you will do? Will you throw your computer? No, you cannot, because you cannot afford it also. You cannot afford a new computer also. What you can do is you can rent graphics, you can rent storage, you can rent RAM from cloud service providers like Microsoft Azure, and you can rent an entire computer with a very good features to run your game. You can do that, but it's basically running on your computer only. Like it's just using the internet to access those resources. So isn't it amazing like how a very low-end laptop can even run a very high-end software basically just through the internet. All you need is to spend on internet and the pay-as-you-go model resources. It won't be costly. It will be definitely cheaper than you buying a new laptop, a new gaming laptop 1.5 like Alienware and all. It will come to 1.52 lakhs. Who will spend that much on a laptop when you can easily spend so much on the internet and so much on the resources? It's self-service on demand. Whenever you want, you will get it. It's just a click of a button away. And all the resources are pooled. As I said, the benefits of resource pooling you might know. So these are all the qualities common to all cloud services. These are the basic characteristics of cloud computing. Right? I think, wait a minute. I think someone put something in chat. No, right? Okay, fine. Uh, yeah. So there are basically a different categories of cloud services now. Now I know you might have heard this. If cloud computing is not a subject for you already, or if it is, it doesn't matter. These are the categories of cloud services. Whatever you need, you don't get. Suppose you say you need a software, okay? You download a software. It's a product. But here in cloud, we don't refer to it as a product. We refer to everything as a service. So that is why this software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service came into picture, right? So you don't own the software. Basically, it's a subscription model. You pay for 1 year, Office 365. I'm sure you are aware of that. Microsoft Office 365 provides all the suites of applications required for you. It provides you with PPT, it provides you with Google, like it will provides you with Docs, it provides you with everything you need. It provides you with Excel. So you don't own the software basically, but you are paying for it yearly. So it's like a subscription. Everything in cloud is provided as a service, not as a product. Although some CEOs of some companies will say, yeah, this is our product, but I would like to refer it as a service because everything, something as a service. It's called as something as a service. And you might also come across some terms like database as a service. Yeah, it is there. I'm not saying it's not there, but it all boils down to these three things: software, infrastructure, and platform. Okay. If you are having doubt, you can feel free to interrupt me, and you can definitely ask any kind of doubts you want. Any doubts you have, whatever I covered till now. I will take silence as no as the answer. Okay. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Software as a service now. I mean, software as a service, as I said, you don't own the software. It's basically a subscription model. It's pretty easier to understand software as a service because it is like ready-made. Everything is ready for you. You just use software from your laptop, access it through the internet. Now I am damn sure like you must be knowing definitely software as a service examples. If you don't know these terms, I will give you one example, and you can give other examples. Okay. One software as a service example is your Office 365. It provides each and every like PPT, PowerPoint presentation, and Excel. All it presents in these things. Can you name anything else? Yeah, can you name anything else? Any other examples you might know of software as a service? If you want help, like even you can Google also. Any software basically provided to you over the internet. Have you ever come across any such feature in your life? Okay, but okay, I'm sure that you at least got an idea of what software as a service means, right? Uh, okay, some other examples are Google Cloud and Google Docs. All these are software as a service because you don't own the software. They are everything, they are making it ready for you and they're giving it to you. Here, you are connecting through your web browser to one particular data center. When you connect to the internet, right? Now, let's say you use Microsoft Office PowerPoint, but through your web browser. When you are connecting through your web browser, what it will do is it will establish a connection between your web browser and a data center. In data center, it will be using one of the servers. Okay, so that's how it happens. And you get the resources from those servers, basically. All this software you get through the cloud. And that server's storage is used by is being shared with all the other servers. So all the resources again are being shared here. Okay. And you don't need to use web browser. You can also use lightweight app, right? You have Google Drive app in your phone. You can directly do that through the app also. These are basically software as a service only. Nothing to much think upon. Now I'll tell you more about infrastructure as a service. Now this I will be moving a little bit on the technical side because infrastructure basically we need something called as like I am working under a infrastructure engineering team. So basically if my piece of code needs a computer to run on, let's say it requires Ubuntu or it requires Linux, any other Linux distribution, but I don't have that operating system on my personal computer on my work laptop. What I can do is I can create a virtual machine, right? There are various vendors who provide infrastructure as a service. Basically, Amazon provides everything: infrastructure, platform, and software. Google Cloud and Microsoft Azure. But the important thing to note down here is, let's say that I need a virtual machine, right? I'm sure you might have come across virtual machines. If you have not, it's basically a simulation of a computer running on a piece of software. That's it. I can have, let's say you have Windows operating system. Basically, you have Windows operating system on your PC. I can have Linux operating system through a software. It's a simulation of another operating system. Now what I can do is I can create a virtual machine in Microsoft Azure or in my Google Cloud or anywhere else, and I can run my piece of code there. It's basically a server, right? When I create a virtual machine, what it will do is it will send a connection to the data center, and it will give me one computer just for me. It will give one computer, and in that computer, that particular OS will be running, right? I can delete it anytime I want. I can copy and paste it like a document. That's the best thing about virtual machines. I can copy and paste it. It's like, uh, let's say everything I need to be replicated. I can basically save it like a document and I can copy and paste it. So that is the VM we use, virtual machines we use. That comes under infrastructure, because if cloud computing was not there and if you needed your company to uh, grow, you needed to buy another computer. You needed to buy many computers. But instead of buying a computer, you can just create a virtual machine, right? And there are many other things to do after that also. That's why it's called infrastructure as a service. It's not like above the stack. It's totally below the stack only. As you can see, there are many cloud service providers who will provide you with these kind of services, right? IBM and all. So that is what up with infrastructure as a service. Now you know software as a service. I know infrastructure as a service. There is a problem for software developers. You know what? Just if we get a computer, is it enough? No, we need to configure many things. We need to install many softwares on that for our software to like our. Let's say I am developing a website. Okay, I'm developing a web app or a website, and I take a virtual machine for that. Now, if I purchase a virtual machine, not purchasing basically, if I rent a virtual machine, I need to still install Apache web server or any other web servers for that particular website to run on. Right. I don't need to do all of that. There are many things to do like that. Right. There are many other things to take care of. I cannot focus on installing software, configuration files and everything. Which is why I take platform as a service as an example. Now, if I take platform as a service, I can just, it will be ready-made available for me. Like that particular web environment will be there for me. What I need to do is I can just run my code there and it will deploy the website. That is the advantage of platform as a service. So I hope you got a clear understanding of IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, right? So now even if a software developer wanted a storage, you will get many storage options here. If I go to Amazon Web Services, I get storage service based on different kind of pricing structures. I get simple storage. I can get elastic storage. I will tell you about elastic in a while. I'll get many other types of storage. I'll get Azure backup. These all these options have different pricing range, right? Also, you come across something called as public, private, and hybrid. I will explain that also. Elastic computing, as I said, serverless computing. These things I will explain now. Now see, public, private, and hybrid. Public cloud, when I'm talking about cloud generally, I'm referring to as public cloud only. For your own personal use, you are using the public cloud. You're using Microsoft Azure or Amazon Web Service for your own use. Everyone is using that, so it's called as a public cloud. Private cloud means extensively, like exclusively for one organization. Like suppose my company Accenture is using a cloud. It cannot share it with the entire public, right? It has to have a private cloud for that. Private, like privately some set of servers for us only. So that's called as a private cloud. Hybrid cloud is like if you take the same example, like my company Accenture, it has its own computers, right? Like we have purchased our own PCs, our own resources. Now, if I need to combine that with cloud infrastructure, I can just lift and shift it. I don't need to do anything else. Now, that is called as a hybrid cloud. I'm using my own on-premises servers also, and I'm using cloud servers also. It's kind of I'm creating a hybrid out of it. Multi-cloud is combining solutions from one or more cloud service providers. Like from Azure, you're using one service. From AWS using one service. Like that. Like that, it varies. We move to elastic cloud computing. It's one of the components or one of the tools which you can use for elastic computing. Is what is elastic computing? What is elastic? Something which expands and something which contracts, right? That is the same thing, same concept applied to storage or any other resources, any other computing resources. Let's say your software is running, okay. So your software is running. I can just set up a rule, like if it uses more than 90% of the computing power, uh, you can just increase the storage, or you can just increase the RAM. It'll automatically increase. And I can set up a rule like if it uses less than, say, average CPU percentage is more than 70. Likewise, I can use less than 40% if it is using, reduce it. Now there is a difference between scaling and elasticity, because scaling means it is like just increasing, but elastic means it will increase and decrease. That is what will help you with cost efficiency also. You only need to pay for what you are using. You don't need to pay for everything. That's why it will be cheaper for you, right? So that's how it helps in the way of cost efficiency. So one more such tool was Amazon CloudWatch, cloud computing tool, which you can use. Excuse me. So before that, I will tell about serverless computing also. Serverless doesn't mean complete serverless computing. Serverless means, as a software developer, like this is a way to run code without even thinking about the servers. You can just run a piece of code on anything and it will run it. It doesn't mean it is not using any server. Everything in this IT world uses server. It uses hardware. We need hardware. When I say cloud, don't think like okay, cloud means we don't need any hardware. And no, it's basically other hardware. We are accessing that over the internet, and we are making that hardware like efficient by some software and everything. Right. So that is the thing about serverless computing. Now, Amazon CloudWatch is one such cloud computing tool which you can use for monitoring your Amazon resources. Let's say you have virtual machines. All these things it will monitor in form of metrics, and that metrics can be used for you to pay at the end. It monitors everything basically. It monitors how much CPU is being used, how much of the resources is being used, and it will provide it to you in a very graphical manner, like okay, this much you have used this month, and for other unused or underused EC2 instances, you can directly shut it down. So like that, that kind of system resources I'm talking about. It helps you monitor everything. Finally, let's talk about service level agreements. This is important, okay, in cloud computing. You will stumble upon this terminology when you are learning deep about cloud computing. There is something called as service level agreements. Okay, this is basically an expectation you can have from the cloud service provider. Now, even that is a hardware they are using, right? It has to shut down, or it has to have some power outage or some kind of failure. Even that will occur. So if that occurs, what can I expect from the cloud service provider? That is written in the service level agreement. For example, if I open the Amazon website, and I get this service level agreement. This is a basic service level agreement. What is written here? Less than 99%, 99.99% if it's available, then I can get 10% discount. Like if I say I am getting all these computers and all this storage from Amazon Web Server, right? Like web services, right? If it is like available 99.99% of the time, then I will get a 10% discount. Ideally, it should be 100%, bro. It has to be available 100% of the time. But if it is available only 99.9% of the time, I will get 10% in the bill off. If it gets less than 95%, I can get full for free also, like 100%. And we might be thinking 99.99%, it's not bad. What might sound like a pretty good number to the general public is not such a good number for software developers. For example, if I show you, this is the percentages as downtime, okay? If they say it's called as like 99% of the time it will be available, in a week you will be losing 1.68 hours. 1.68 hours it won't be available in a week. In a month it's like 7.2 hours. In a year it's 3.65 days. So for you still it's okay, but for a software developer, how critical the software is, how much will it, like how much business failure will happen if it's down for 7.2 hours. That things we need to keep in mind as a software developer. So that is what is written in service level agreement. How much can we expect out of you, right? So yeah, I guess you got a pretty good idea about cloud right now, right? So I hope I can have convinced you that there is a cloud and it's not just someone else's computer, right? So here I conclude my session. I know there will be many questions in your mind. If you want to ask, you can definitely ask. I'm sorry I extended 6 minutes from the given time. But if you have any doubts or any questions or any thoughts about anything at all, you can ask me. That's it. I'm like done with the PPT. And I really thank you for patiently listening uh, over all these slides. I hope I was able to make it more and more interesting. Like if you want, I can show you my own Microsoft Azure account. This was provided for me during the training of Microsoft Azure in my company. Actually, like I have another account, like it's a developer's account. In that, I actually need to work. It's in my work laptop. But this one I used for my own like basic learning purposes. If I need to create virtual machine, I can just click create here. It will create it. If I click create here, it will ask me some basic questions like, okay, how much RAM you want, and how much which operating system you want. It will just ask me. Like, see, it will here it is asking the operating system I want. I can use to create, and this is the size 8 GB memory. It will be there in the sense 8 GB RAM, and it's like this is the cost. But you need to pay per use. Like you don't need to pay monthly or something like that. You can pay as you go. Like how much you're using, that much you have to pay, like that. So yeah, I can put the username and everything. I can select the SSH connection, and I can just review and create here. It will create a virtual machine for me. Likewise, I can create any storage account also. As to one of your students was saying, we need storage, right? 500, 600, 5 TB, 1 TB, anything. You can just create here and you will get the storage. Right, subscriptions, it will show the which subscription it is. All you see here, everything you see is a component of your cloud. You can call this as cloud computing tools as well, because these are the components which you will be requiring, right? If I go over each and every one, it will this webinar will not be enough for me to explain how many services are there. See, I'm scrolling and scrolling, it's not ending only. So many services I have, so many cloud computing tools I have in this. I can directly just explain, but this is for you to find out, right? And if you have any doubt over it, if you want me to show you anything or you can explain me anything, you can ask me definitely, right? So yeah, any questions?
The session was very interactive. As a feedback is the session was very interactive, and you have explained every concept in a very easy, understandable manner without much technical terms and with ample examples. So it
Yeah,
was very nice.
yeah.
And
Thank you,
I
sir.
think this session will be very helpful for these students because they are going to, I think they are going to study this cloud computing particular subject in higher semester. At that particular time this concept will be very helpful for them. I think after like, going on to this session they might have gotten a basic idea, and it might have cleared many of their doubts about what is cloud
Definitely.
computing, what is the difference between internet, cloud computing, all things. It was
Ye-
very nice, sir, and you have expressed presented in a very easily understandable manner.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that
Yes, sir.
sweet words. My agenda was to make you the because if you don't understand the basic concepts, right? Further, many easier concepts will come, but you won't be able to understand it because there was some confusion in the basic concepts as well. For example, when I said if I ask a student what is cloud, if I ask a IT professional what is cloud, everyone will say a different answer. But if you get the basic idea of it, you will know how to use cloud in your future or um, endeavors, right? So, so that was it. Any questions from student side or anyone basically can ask. No, can see people leaving the meeting. I know it's a Saturday. So yeah,
So I once again thank you, despite of busy schedule,
uh,
and coming and delivering a very good quality webinar on cloud computing. Very thank you, sir.
I am
Thank you.
very glad actually that I can once again revisit my college and explain to my fellow students and my faculties whatever I have learned in the industry. I am also very glad for you guys providing me an opportunity to present a webinar on this. So thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone uh, responsible for conducting this webinar. Thank you, students. Thank you, my friends. And if you have any doubts, final, you can ask, or else I will end the session.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so I will end the meeting now.